Yes, welcome to week 3 of MG300 here. And this week we've got kind of a couple of things working here. But first, before we get into that, I do want to say some great discussions on last week's discussion thread on uncertainty. And we definitely have this aspect of uncertainty in all areas of management. So we've had some really good responses, and a couple of those were super interesting. We had some scores that were really low. We had some scores that were kind of high. Both of them kind of selling us a little bit different, something different about ourselves and how we manage that aspect of uncertainty. Um, I will say a lot of you mentioned consistency, and consistency is a great thing in management. But also, if you're too consistent, then you end up with a lack of innovation. So you want to be kind of cognizant of that, where you want to balance that line in between those types of things, because you can be too consistent. However, consistency works. Take a look at McDonald's. McDonald's is consistently, whether you agree with it or not, they are consistent, and they have been consistent for almost 75 years. Since the first McDonald's had. That's why if you take a look at the founder and Ray Kroc, he definitely had this aspect of consistency that he was looking for. So moving on into week 3 here, we got two distinct this is kind of a split week for us. We have basically two differing topics. We've got managing ethics and social responsibility, and then we've got planning and goal setting. And in this aspect here of the discussion this week, as I click on it here, in the discussion this week, as it opens, hopefully, there we go. When you take a look at this aspect of planning, I like these two videos from Mia Ola, which is talking about the last time we had a financial crisis and what she kind of chose to do to handle that. She chose to become an entrepreneur and start this swim line based in Costa Rica because she liked to surf. So she decided she was going to go ahead and walked away from her job in New York and decided to go into fashion. Not that she didn't have a basis in fashion before that, but she walked away from the big businesses aspect of it and decided to do her own thing. So what you want to kind of do is review this video that's listed underneath here. So when you take a look at this aspect here, what you're looking at under is down here. So this is the video that goes with it. So I want you to take a look at that video and answer those couple of questions. Think about what she did to start Mia Ola and how planning and goal setting played into that. So that's kind of where we're at, because as managers, we have to plan. Planning is one thing, goal setting is another. Okay, so when we plan, we kind of plan on how to get things done. On the other hand, goal setting is more about how a little bit longer range and how do we get towards our goals to keep the business moving forward. And she talks pretty extensively about both of those in the video. So it's a short little video. Typically, even on the ground class, I like to play it, as well as use the other one that you'll be seeing her and Mia Ola again next week. Well, we're talking about a different topic. Now, our second one here, is basically into this aspect of ethics and social responsibility. So, does a business have a responsibility to be ethical? Okay, most people will say that automatically. Okay, so what you're going to be looking at this week is kind of this aspect of ethics. Now, you may have had ethics on BA 310, or you might be taking it in the future. So you'll have a whole course in ethics and business and how to manage that. Now, on the other side of this, we've got corporate social responsibility. Okay, now on one hand, managing a business ethically and making sure you're doing the right thing is a little bit different than social responsibility. corporate social responsibility means that we have a responsibility to society as in the businesses we run. I can say in the court of public opinion these days, definitely corporations have to become that visual aspect of being corporate social responsibility. And what I'm going to do now is because I kind of it's a really good example that I use in class, and where we and this is a good these things. When you take with these, you can ask all this, the advertising, all this. So then we go down here, and it's very easy because and see what we have here is this is the bottom website, which we have all these aspects of what's important to the company and how you actually access what they stand for. So we take a look at this. Right, look here, commitment to transparency. And we're looking at this aspect of responsibility reporting. Okay, so here, Starbucks has all these social responsibility statements. So you can tell where they stand on social issues. You'll be talking about this in the 360, the Global Bribery Standard. That's pretty standard for most corporations now. The labeling, the workplace ethical sourcing, okay, all of these look at, and this is a report they put out to tell you how well they're doing. Okay. These are pretty interesting to take a look at. It goes all the way back to 2001. Okay, and I choose Starbucks as an example only because they build their company on this aspect of social impact and social responsibility. Get a chance on the website there. I'll go ahead and stick a link in on this video for you guys to take a look at. And that way you can kind of go ahead and click on this, take a look at the where this goes, and it'll really be a little bit more impact into corporate responsibility, what CSR is. Because Starbucks, whether I like their coffee or not, is a different story, but they're a great example of what a company does who bases it in their mission statement on these aspects of corporate social responsibility. This week you also have, obviously you have these assignments here, a couple of self-assessments, and an assignment on goals and planning. Okay. So as we this week into next week, and then we'll start on a little bit of a project, and we'll have our first exam. All right. So if you stay back on the midterms until week 5. All right. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Once again, I'd like to draw your attention to my 5 to 6 p.m. office hours on Thursday.